Hello, Michael Swain here after Kansas basketball's 74-69 win over Cincinnati here inside of Allen Fieldhouse. Not the perfect performance from Kansas, but I think considering the circumstances of the amount of games KU has played over the last 3 weeks since Big 12 play really started, right? I believe this is their 5th game in the last 12 days, something along those lines. They've played a lot of basketball. And to come off of a tough road game at West Virginia where KU did not play well at all, and they got back late Saturday night. They practiced for 30 minutes on Sunday to get ready for a Cincinnati team that I think is a lot better than their record. Look, you can look at Cincinnati and losing record in conference, right? It doesn't look great, but if you actually look at the individual games and some of the numbers behind Cincinnati, they are a good team. And I think you saw that here where they really did pose some issues for KU. I don't think this was a game that maybe KU fans probably felt like, hey, Jayhawks might lose, but Cincinnati pushed the right buttons and I think caused some problems for KU, and there are some positives and negatives in this game. Starting on the positive side, Johnny Furphy, his ascension is so critical for KU in the long run because he offers something different, right? I think we all see what KJ Adams brings, what Kevin McCullough brings, what Hunter Dickinson brings, and Furphy just fills this role of an off-ball slasher. He's a guy that can make open threes. These are just things that maybe other guys that KU has don't offer all the time, and I think that's a huge part of this. And you look at the start he had again tonight, back-to-back games with having a really strong start, and the key was the fact that he finished the game, right? It was last week, I believe, when he made his first start, when Self said he got gassed and had to come out. And then it's in this game that Furphy makes that three, right, with about 2 minutes left. It gives KU a 10-point lead, really seals the win for KU. That's a big-time moment for a freshman, and to have the confidence for him to step up and make that shot, that's huge. And so, Furphy is just incredible. Over 20 points, 10 rebounds, double-double. The rebounding aspect, I think, for me is a big concern for KU right now. They've been out-rebounded by 20 over the last 2 games. Bill Self made the comment that he doesn't think this is going to be a great rebounding team. I think this is a KU team that can be a good rebounding team, and the key to that is guys like Hunter Dickinson, KJ Adams, and Kevin McCullough kind of pulling their own weight on the glass. And I think the last 2 games, that really hasn't been there. Now, is that a result of the schedule KU has played, where you think about a road trip to Florida, a road trip to West Virginia, right? Maybe that is contributing to this, but it's along the lines of the turnover issues that KU's had, right? Where the way Bill Self puts it is that KU is not good enough offensively to overcome turnovers because KU does not have 3-point shooters that can negate plays like that, right? In years past, when it's been Devontae Graham, Sfima Kailuk, you think about the guys that KU's had shooting threes and being able to overcome deficits. And KU does not have that. And so what do they have to do? They have to maximize possessions. And you can't allow offensive rebounds because those are second chance points, extra opportunities for the other team. It's the exact same thing as a turnover, right? You have a chance to have possession and you give it to the other team. And so that's the part of the game that I think is most concerning. I think the lack of bench production is pretty big, right? 2 points for KU off the bench, and they came in the final minute. Nick Timberlake felt like he was starting to put it together, and then he just can't stay on the floor because he makes mistakes. And they're mental mistakes, right? They're not physical ones, they're mental. And I think that's probably the frustrating thing for Bill Self right now is the fact that, someone like Marco Jackson still feels like he's a step or 2 behind. Nick Timberlake's not taking the steps. Parker Brown is Parker Brown. You know what you're getting with him in those minutes. You just look at the bench and there's just not a lot of options right now and not a lot of guys that look like they're ready to be a consistent threat. So that's definitely a concern. But I think overall, KU's starting 5 is really good. And that's going to be really important for Big 12 tournament time, but more so, look, NCAA tournament is the end goal, right? KU wants to win national championships, go to the Final Four. Well, you have to have a really good starting 5 to do that, and KU has that. Now, the bench is going to be really important for the rest of conference play because this conference is not going to get any easier, right? KU still has to play Baylor, they play Houston twice, they have to go to Iowa State next weekend. They're tough games coming up, and you need the depth in those moments. So it's kind of a two-way street right now where you feel pretty good about KU going into the NCAA tournament because they have such a high-quality starting 5, and if they can have that energy and intensity on the glass and defensively like they had in the second half where they made Cincinnati look silly sometimes, that's a huge positive. But I think overall, there's going to be some development has to happen with this team over the next few weeks. And for KU, right, they've got the best coach in college basketball, so you're not going to bet against that. But it's just some things I'm thinking about after this game. I think for KU now, it's big they get some days off before the Iowa State game. Obviously, Iowa State, really good team. So make sure you're checking all the content at fog.net, and we'll be here all week.